If federal workers' comp is so fair, why does everybody have so much trouble? Federal workers' comp is not occupational medicine, although I'm a professor of occupational medicine. That's not the expertise you need. You need to be an expert in legal medicine. 50% of litigation requires a white coat, a doctor's opinion. And all we learn in medical school about legal medicine is that lawyers don't go to heaven. The biggest complaint I hear from federal workers, I can't find a doctor. I can't find a hospital that'll even see me. Doctors and hospitals do not know how to get paid. Although federal workers' comp pays better than any system, they don't know how to get paid. They don't know how to fill out forms. Federal workers and their supervisors have no training in federal workers' compensation. This is a form in federal workers' comp. It's called a CA-16, Authorization for Examination and Treatment. It's required by law. If you have an acute injury, the supervisor has to give it to the employee. They can check a box they disagree, but everybody gets paid. Every medical provider, hospital, clinic, surgeon gets paid. Now, if, say a year later they decide it's not work-related, everybody gets paid till that point in time. And guess what? The federal government doesn't give them out, even though it's criminal law, fine, imprisonment, or both if you don't. No one knows what to do. The doctor's got to be a lawyer first and then a doctor, or otherwise someone's going to be hurt. Many large hospitals and clinics have tried federal workers' comp and they've failed. Worse than they failed, they've hurt patients. For instance, a hospital tried to do federal workers' comp for 2 years. They fell on their face. I saw the types of reports they put out. I saw the type of schedule awards or impairment ratings they did. They can't do it. They don't know how to follow the regulations needed in the Federal Employment Compensation Act and the Office of Workers' Compensation Procedures. You've got to be a lawyer in this stuff. This hick doctor from Oklahoma, through 50 years of training, has learned how to do this. I have all the systems. We always get paid. We always win. I've been doing seminars on federal workers' comp and VA disability since 2004 all across the United States for federal unions and for hospitals. Let's say it takes a year to get a claim finally accepted. They finally give up and obey the law that they're supposed to obey. We know how to retroactively go back in time and bill for all those services. We're going to get you taken care of. We're going to get you paid and us paid. And a patient paid an attorney $11,000. Nothing happened for a year and a half. Little conference sets, my paralegal and myself, we have this done, we have a report, and in a month he's getting 75% of his pay tax-free, and we're getting paid for all the services we rendered. The reason we always win, the reason we always get paid, is that the federal workers' compensation law is ridiculously fair if you know the law and all the procedures. It's supposed to be non-adversarial administrative law, but no one applies it that way. And therefore, everybody gets screwed. The VA, which is very important in federal, because about 30% of federal employees are veterans, its law is just as fair as federal, but no one knows the law. Had a general come in. I was a flight surgeon in the Army. A general come in. Doc, we're getting more complaints about you than the other doctors in this section. You're finding more disability on the exit physicals. General, did you get a call from Washington? Have you read the VA law? General, I didn't keep notes in medical school. I read the law. The law is ridiculously fair. I apply it correctly. But what's happening here is Top Sergeant is telling these kids that if you file for anything, I'm going to keep you an extra week. So I have to overcome that lie. Federal workers' comp and the VA laws are procedures and regulations. All the case law says that obviously Congress realized the individual, either federal employee or veteran, is taking on the whole federal government. Therefore, the veteran or the federal employee always wins, but no one knows the law. We apply the law fairly and correctly like it was written, and that's why we always win. We have all the systems, all the procedures, all the forms ready to go. It's ready for this sewing machine we've developed here, this widget we've developed here, to go national. Federal workers' comp and VA is all white coat, and that's the problem. White coat people are not trained in this. They don't want to be trained in it. They don't like the scut work. They don't like to do all the little nuances that have to be done. Well, that's what's needed by the patient. If you got a cancer, cut it out. If you have someone that needs something, you produce the results that heals them. Doctors are not trained in legal medicine. Therefore, federal workers' comp and veterans do not get impairment ratings, do not get paid, don't get their salaries, and doctors hurt them. We have a very well-defined process that gets us from point A to point B. The final product that we produce is that medical report. We now have that refined. It can be taught and it can be done by mid-level people. I've been doing legal medicine since the 70s. I fell into it, but all that experience and training, which no one has, I'm now the book. I'm now the residency. I need to take what I know and share it so that my patients can be taken care of. I have all the systems and all the procedures, and I have the training and knowledge that no one has. I may not be any good, I'm just the only one. People come from all over the world. This is legal medicine. See all these little certificates? It's all on my curriculum vitae on Ellis Clinic. That's legal medicine, legal medicine. This is legal medicine, legal medicine, legal medicine. And this is just medical, like normal people, like normal doctors. The success for this system that no one else understands is that we're a clearinghouse. Everything has to come into the mothership to be reviewed and sent out. If you let anybody else do it, they will screw it up. All right? So you doctors and clinics and hospitals, you do your medical, we will take it and turn it into medical legal and get it through federal workers' comp or the VA system, whichever you need, and get it taken care of. You do not have to learn how to ride a horse if you've never ridden a horse. We've got the horse, we've got the systems, we can do it. It's taken me 15 years to develop this process, to learn the system, to learn legal medicine, to be successful against the federal government. Always successful against the federal government. That's not going to be taught in one day. I've got all the systems, all the protocols, and all that's ready to go. That's ready to be digitized. I'm looking for business expertise to take this to the next level. One. Okay. All right. April 5th, 2024. Your Hick Dr. Ellis is here. Okay, ask Doc Ellis. Okay, first one is from, I'm trying to get FECA records. Now, Federal Employment Compensation Act, which is the law for federal workers' comp, if you have an e-comp file, that's how you get electronically in and you can actually see your records, see what they have. If you don't have an e-comp file or you don't have an e-comp address, call Ellis Clinic. We'll walk you through it. We'll help you get your e-comp file. Then you can get into that file and find out what they have. Plus, you can add to it. I mean, this is gold, folks. It's like having a prosecuting attorney's file. For instance, the claims examiner said, I left an email. I left a voicemail. She didn't call back. Well, it's a lie. So she scanned her records, sent them in. The claims examiner caught the lie and accepted everything. So if you don't have an e-com file, call us, or you can get on the website and go through the government's way. It's probably easier. Let us hold your hand and walk you through it. Won't cost you anything. Okay. And then, so now he also said, I'm trying to find what copies I have since 2012 that he's put into VICA. Okay. It would, to get a scheduled award. Yeah. And what you do, you go to ellisclinic.com, click out appointment and check, do you want to do a scheduled award? We'll look at your records and see if that's what you need. If you need more, we'll tell you. And then you come in, we'll do a scheduled award. All righty. This is from Andres from California. Came across the video. Okay. In a VA hospital, was injured in a VA hospital. Let me explain that there's malpractice, like a normal malpractice. But let's say you go to the VA and you have gallbladder surgery that's not service connected, and you have bad results. Get infection or peritonitis. Then all that bad results becomes a VA claim. Okay, and you can file against that, and it's a little easier. Now it's difficult because it is a malpractice claim, but it's easier than in normal malpractice where it costs $100,000 just to get into court. Give us a call. We'll give you some names of attorneys that know how to do that. Okay, so now I was surgically injured, left right upper extremity, permanently disabled. My peripheral nerves are severed. The doctor pretty much abandoned. Yeah, well, I can understand that. If I do surgery on you, have no problems. Okay. Afterwards, the doctor who injured me said it was there pre-existing. That's just bullshit, lying bull. Pain every single day. Wow, sounds to me like you've got a major VA disability plus extra money for the screw up. So you get VA disability for whatever caused that. And then extra money on top of it. So don't give up. Tort claim. Okay, sure. Yeah, we do that. I've testified 1,587 times in malpractice and federal workers' comp and VA disability. And every time I've gone to federal criminal court, because sometimes the government goes after my vets and my federal employees, every time the judges threaten the prosecuting attorney with contempt or jail because they don't read the law. They go in there just arrogantly and they think I'm a hick doctor because I say I'm a hick doctor. But hey, prosecuting attorneys, read my transcripts. You do not want me in a courtroom. I just tell the truth, and that stands out like a sore thumb. Okay, so let's walk you through that. It's going to be a long time, but we'll do it. We'll stay with you. I love wars. Okay, here's Walter from Colorado. I don't mind paying $500. Well, that's nice for expert testimony. Okay, you don't need no. Okay, now he's been denied 6 times in the VA, folks. If you get denied, you don't go back to the people that denied you. Okay, you go to the Board of Veterans Appeals. Now, Veteran Service Officers say, but it's going to take extra time. Well, if you get denied 6 times, it's quicker to go to the Board of Veterans Appeals. Now, the judges are lawyers. They know the law. And if you have a good nexus or causation report, but a doctor knows what he's doing, you're going to win. Because they understand that the law is pro-veteran. It's not equal. It's pro-veteran. Just like federal workers' comp law is pro-injured employee. No one knows it. And until you get to the oral hearing stage or the Employee Compensation Appeal Board. So, okay. And this is, just send your stuff in. Let's see what we can do. That I would like my attorney to speak, Dr. Ellis. Have him give me a call. Sure, if an attorney needs something, especially love to hear things from attorneys, because sometimes the verbiage needed, it changes. It's kind of mercurial. Maybe it's an expansion or instead of upgrade, acceleration instead of aggravation. Yeah, I'd love to talk to the attorney. It's free to attorneys, okay? And now this is Ernest.
I believe all of these questions below question 4 have been answered, but we do have some online.
Let's do the onlines, okay?
All right.
Have they been answered so everybody can read the answers?
I don't have those on.
Okay.
Yeah, is what
Well, let's do online, then we'll go to those if we need to.
All right.
There's just a couple.
Our first is from Blue Eagle on YouTube. Can diabetes be secondary to obstructive sleep apnea?
I'd have to do, or Nicole would do a research. There may be case law. In other words, the VA has ruled that is, and that takes care of it. I'd have to look the medical literature to that. Now, sleep apnea can contribute to weight gain, tiredness, and decreased activity, weight gain, and weight gain is certainly going to contribute to diabetes. It might be a stretch, but in fact, you can do it. Google, is there VA case law tying up sleep apnea and diabetes? If you got a case law, then that's really it. May not be science, but it gets accepted.
All right. Now we have another from YouTube by Everett Robinson. Good day, Dr. Ellis. I'm looking to do a claim for GERD secondary to migraines and PTSD. Which one do you feel would be more favorable? I've used your service before and was successful. Thank you.
Do both. When you're talking about it, You give everything you've got, weight gain, anything. Yeah.
Right. Now we have another one here from Meredith Davis on Facebook. Greetings and thanks for all you do. In preparation for retirement, I downloaded all my econ files and have prepared them for submission to the Doc Ellis Clinic. Question is, what to do with 2 paper copy CA1s that I am in possession of, but do not appear as claims in econ?
I'd have to actually look at them to see. Because if they're not submitted ecomp, then the claims examiner doesn't know they're there. Okay, but if you filled them out and said they're signed years ago, we can use it as evidence. Now, and speaking of retirement, is it normal retirement? Or are you thinking about FERS, medical disability retirement? That has to be done within 1 year of the last date you're a federal employee. And if you're getting close to that, that's an emergency.
All right. We have another on Facebook from Paul Johnson here. He says, I had to get a second evaluation on my DOL comp case. The second eval was less than half of your eval. What can we do or expect next?
Well, you should have expected that the first time. Okay. I'd have to look at it. Maybe they were right, but usually they're not. The second eval, you got to get in their mindset. They think they've got to give a low rating so they get more business, and that's true. Okay, you're not going to get most claims examiners are not going to send it if you don't lower it. And so you got to be a whore if you're going to be a second opinion doctor. So you just repeat your scheduled award, take their scheduled award, and then do another scheduled award at the end of the year.
All right, we've got.
I mean, by the time you fight it, it will be a year, and you might as well do another one. Oh, and by the way, say you got better, you don't pay anything back, and you don't pay for the scheduled award. You have to pay for your travel and stuff. They'll do up to 100 miles.
All right, we've got another YouTube comment from 1776 here. Can I still file a VA claim on an original injury that is recorded in my service treatment records that later was further aggravated at my federal employment and paid 15% impairment rating 20 years ago?
Yes, you can. You can double dip. Absolutely. And if you have no records, you can file it. If you tell me it happened, I believe it, it becomes your medical record. And then you rate it, and you rate it every year and see if it goes up. People don't get better.
All right. We have a question here from Jessica on Facebook. As I am requesting help with my initial federal workers' comp claim. I don't think I have paperwork filled out right, and they are requesting more information. Please help. How soon could I get a phone appointment?
Within 5 years, no problem. No, no. Instead of trying to do all that, make an appointment to come in to develop it. And what we'll do, we'll help you do your employee statement, and we'll show you the rules. We'll read the rules to you and coach you, and you get to do that. And speaking of that, once I had a claims examiner saying it looks like the employment statement was done with the assistance of Ellis Clinic, as if that was a bad thing. Shame, shame, shame on you, claims examiner. This is supposed to be non-adversarial administrative law, federal and VA. And so you're going to have someone who has a language barrier or brain barrier, have to write an essay to the federal government to get a claim, and they got to do it all by themselves. And you think that helping them is a bad thing? Shame on you. You have shown your bias. It's God damn it. It's like being a black man at a KKK meeting. This bias against injured federal employees and veterans just is wrong. Pull your head out of your ass and realize what you're doing. You're not the judge and jury. The doctor is. Okay.
All right. We have a follow-up from 1776. I'm asking because I don't understand double dipping law. I did read that you can't receive a schedule award while receiving VA disability concurrently.
I'm not aware of that. Do you know?
Yeah, I don't.
Don't know. No.
I'll look it up though while we're here.
Yeah, but don't believe everything you say, even from me.
All right. Now,
because I've got a zillion people, about a third of the federal employees are veterans, and so when I do seminars, I do federal and VA because the laws are both very, very fair, And yeah, so you have a VA claim, and then it's aggravated. You got a knee from jumping out of planes, and then you go to work for the government. You get a strain. The way you rate that knee, it's a total knee. Let me tell you how fair this is. Let's say you're born with a club foot. You have a high school basketball knee surgery. You have Marine knee surgery, and then you have a strain working for the government. The way I rate that leg, I rate the total knee and add the club foot. Wow, that's fair. That's more than fair. Okay.
So,
But no one knows law.
I did just look it up, and this is from Code of Federal Regulations 3708B2. There is no bar to concurrent payment of FEC and any VA benefit when entitlement is not based on the same disability or death.
All right, there you go. Thank you, thank you.
Right. So that precludes further research because it says not same disability or death. Right. So there may be some overlap.
Well, yeah, but a knee is not a knee. It's what part of the knee.
Okay. All right. I see what you're
Yeah, now you had to play this game.
Yeah, there's 9 ways to skin a cat, right?
That's right. You just never give up.
All right. We have another here from David Parker Thomas on Facebook. I have accepted case finally after 1 year. Had low back fusion surgery, 3 levels, DOL, SC, CCOP examiner. Did great going backwards. However, going forward, said I could work 4 hours sedentary on phone. I have done Oswestry questionnaire, and pain prevents me from sitting more than 1 hour. I have complications of peripheral neuropathy in both legs and deep vein thrombosis and drop foot on left side. I think I can work 1 to 2 hours or not at all. What should I do now?
Okay, you need to have your treating doctor fill out what's called a form CA-17 and put down how long you can sit, how you can stand, and put all those restrictions down. Then the supervisor has to meet that. But you need to have your treating doctor do that. And then if he doesn't want to, or she doesn't want to, then they can say, I'm referring the restrictions to Dr. Ellis, because first of all, he's board certified and all kinds of stuff, especially a fellow of occupational legal medicine, blah, blah, blah. And so that's what we do. So my qualifications in occupational medicine and all that, and that is more than if I was just an orthopedic surgeon, because I do ergonomics and all that stuff. And then your doctor puts down what you can do. For instance, a 60-year-old postal employee, hips, knees, and ankles are accepted conditions. He's on a walker, and he's getting 75% of his pay tax-free on federal workers' comp. The nurse case manager wants him off workers' comp and on FERS disability, 40% taxable. I said, boy, that's a good idea. That'd save post office a lot of money. Why would he be that stupid? Well, they don't like it. They're not a law. So they send him to 3 different doctors. I don't know, maybe $5,000, $10,000 a pop. Anyway, agencies, listen to me. These people are sending people for second opinion, and the treating doctor's report has all probative value. It's a waste of time. It's a waste of your money. Why don't you just pay for treatment and stop this stuff? But anyway, and each time they said he could work, and I said, yes, I agree. These are the restrictions. Post office said, we don't have that job. So he goes through 2 years of that stuff, still getting a 75% tax free. And now they're going to finally leave him alone until probably a couple of years from now. Somebody will pull hair out of their ass and start bothering him again. But you make sure your doctor's got balls, because most people see federal government scare the shit out of them.
So just to reiterate, have the treating physician
your treating physician determines restrictions,
or refer the restrictions.
Not second opinions. Second opinion doctors can say, and then the claims examiner said, "What do you think of that? I agree or disagree. I agree you can work with these restrictions. We don't have that job."
What's the process for referring to you?
Oh, for the doctor to just write just on a little progress note, a little prescription, refer to Dr. Ellis for OWCP consultation. Or letterhead would be nice. Then I start off my report. I've been asked to consult by John Doe, and that's your first sentence, so it gets the claims examiner's attention. Right? I don't need to be your treating doctor. I can be a consultant to your treating doctor. Like, I'm licensed to do brain surgery. That would be malpractice. I'm not trained. So, doctor, if you don't know all this stuff and you don't want to do all this gut work, let us do your gut work. It's absolutely necessary. I mean, they're not going to eat and pay the rent if it's not done. So we'll do it. Let us do that stuff if you're not real comfortable with it and know it. Okay. For instance, I had the doctor did a 5 surgeries on the knee and did it under federal workers' comp, so he didn't pay insurance and copay. Thank you, doctor. God bless you for even knowing how to get paid. When will I be at maximum medical improvement? Well, this doctor, without any legal medicine training, and even that's not going to do it, without my training, said what a normal doctor would say. Well, never. You're always going to need a brace. You're always going to need physical therapy. That cost him over $300,000. Fortunately, he came in and we got his schedule of work. So don't listen to everybody. Okay.
So we have a follow-up here from 1776. I received the schedule award over 20 years ago, but never filed VA disability for the initial injury.
Well, do your VA, just like a VA, yeah.
So the VA claim would be for separate.
Yeah, VA, we charge for VA, but you won't charge for schedule award. You could come in for a schedule award and see if it's up.
All right.
If you come in, do both of them same day, save your trip.
We have Reg Law on YouTube. Is it right that I've been in PT for 1 year and get a SA for 2 months when the second opinion doctor stated that the MMI was met in my federal case?
But if you said the MMI is met, then you can get a schedule of work. So now, here's the nice thing, Doug. If they send you a second opinion, and he does a schedule of work, that's your new MMI. That's your new day to pay. So second opinions are not always bad.
All right. We have one from Jessica on Facebook. I am in Ohio. Can this be done via phone or video?
Sure.
Right. Where can they find that information?
You just get on here, send your stuff in, said I'd like to do telehealth.
All right.
And we'll look at it. And then so you do it. Then if it doesn't work, they deny it. Then you get, you come.
So we have Cole on Facebook. Just sent my paperwork in this week. How soon will I get a confirmation of the receipt of them?
You won't get a confirmation of receipt. You get a point. We'll call you for the appointment. If you don't get a call for the appointment, call us. Because we've had some problems with the, especially FedEx, going to the wrong clinic, wrong place. So it's okay to call and say, did you get them? But we don't send that we got them. We ought to probably start doing that. But no, because it's double dip, because we're gonna call them. We got to go through the records. Now, what we're doing is we're going through and putting all the summary lists, getting all the records correlated, and that takes a long time. And it takes a table. In other words, you got to get all the records out. You got to make sure they're all perfect, because Doc's not going to look at them unless they're perfect. And then we call you. And then we see, does he need anything? Do we need another thing? And then we give you a call. And if you need something, we'll give you a call.
So we have Marcus from Facebook.
I'm going to have to, hey, guys, we are not a lawyer. We're not a law firm. We're just a bunch of hick doctors in Oklahoma. And so we can't handle the world, and we're trying to. But there's just so many lifeboats in this Titanic, so don't get mad at us.
All right. Marcus from Facebook says, hi, Dr. Ellis. I have got notice to see a referee doctor, and the doctor that OWCP has chosen for me is affiliated with one of the office that I have gotten treatment. But OWCP is sending me to a different state to see this guy. Is this legal, even though I have had no direct patient-physician contact with him?
No, that's fine. They can do anybody they want. Yeah. And it may be good, it may be bad. It's going to depend on the doctor, his attitude, his bias.
Right. We have Errol here from Facebook, from Louisiana. Should I try to claim sleep apnea to PTSD or tinnitus?
Both.
Both. Excellent. All right. We have Everett here on YouTube.
And then also, so if you have any musculoskeletal injury, like flat feet or anything like that, and you have had any weight gain, then we throw that in too.
All right. We've got Everett here on YouTube. Why is OSA such a hard claim for the VA to grant, even for people with PACT Act conditions like chronic sinusitis and rhinitis?
Because doctors are assholes. Okay.
I thought that was lawyers.
No, lawyers just aren't going to heaven.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. This is something I sold on TV, in 1990 about workers' comp and personal injuries. The title is "You Know When You Hurt." Because when you get hurt on the job or in a car wreck, everybody calls you a liar or a cheat, and no one believes you. Okay? This was a car wreck, and the attorney's secretary said, just give us the report to her arms in a sling. I called the attorney up and said, you need to fire your secretary. This is the worst third-degree separation I've seen in 3 years, you dumb shit. I said, you've got this lady at your front desk? Okay, but anyway, now, and in these tapes, I say, this orthopedic surgeon, medicine didn't make me an asshole. Assholes go into medicine. Now, when I was at Oklahoma State University, I had to get permission to take more than 18 hours a semester. Medical school's 8 to 5, 5 days a week, half day on Saturday. That's 43 hours a semester. That leaves normal out. No normal person can get through medical school. Then you got homework on top of that. So we're not looking for bedside manner. The only person that can do everything well got hung on a cross. So we're going to our orthopedic surgeon for technique. Then we'll go to my family doctor, hold my hand. We'll go to my priest to complain to. But so I have one doctor say, now this guy's an asshole, but he does a great knee. So just put up with it. And or I've had people come back about an orthopedic surgeon, how nice he is. I said, I need to see your credentials. I don't think you're an orthopedic surgeon if you're being that nice. And let me tell you the difference between MDs and DOs. As an MD, I was trained like a Marine, browbeating, harassment. DOs are trained to be nice. They're kind of weird. They actually touch patients, I hear, and they actually listen, which is kind of weird for an MD. But DOs have that training. So anyway.
All right. Here we have Levana from YouTube. Being exposed to jet fuel and whole body vibration, complex sleep apnea, chronic complaints of trouble breathing, and pneumonia in service. Any connection to apnea?
Absolutely. Pneumonia service. I know that stuff, sure. Now, remember, this is not criminal law beyond a reasonable shadow of a doubt. You can't put O.J. Simpson in jail. Also, when they asked the DA, the investigator, you ever said the N-word? Well, the answer is yes. And he said no. So he lied. That trial's over. Okay. But now the family took him to court under civil law, and they hardly even mentioned it. But this is VA law and federal workers' comp. The criteria is real low. So quit practicing law and just come in and let's do this stuff. But now you're going to have denies by people that have no clue.
We have Roberto from YouTube. Can you get Social Security Disability Income, SSDI, I believe, and Schedule Award?
Sure.
All right.
Different worlds.
So, Mr. B from YouTube, favorable findings identified in the decision. You require aid and attendance. What does this mean? They denied the claim.
Well, you need to get your claim approved, and then we get your aid and dependence approved. So you appeal it.
All right. We have Marcus here from Facebook. I have had 2 cervical fusion, and I know cervical injuries doesn't qualify for Schedule Award. How does that work?
No, you're wrong. The spine doesn't, but the nerve does. Okay. So if you hit your funny bone, those 2 fingers, that's the ulnar nerve tingle. Okay. So if you have anything from that neck or back down an arm, I can rate the nerve down the arm. For instance, this was a guy, Tinker Air Force Base, print shop. They opened a 55-gallon drum of toluene. That's what sniffing glue does. It'll pickle your brain in minutes. His brain atrophy. He can't walk. His wife had to hold one side. I can't rate his brain damage because the heart, brain, and spine are not covered. But I can rate the weakness in the arms and legs. I can get him as 100%. Now, the reason the spine's not covered, when the 1916 Federal Workers' Comp Law, extremely fair, the first Workers' Comp Law, a schedule. What's a scheduled award? Okay, a cut off finger at certain parts. There was a different schedule. Of course, cut the whole arm off, it's 100%. So that's what schedule means. All right. So heart, brains, and spines were not covered. And so, because the government didn't have time to balance the checkbook, much less do that. About the only change in the law was in 74, the Federal Workers' Comp Law. You get to pick your doctor, and by law, that doctor's report has more probative legal value. This is not an equal battle. Like if you have two people in a car wreck, it's equal doctors fighting, dueling doctors. Okay. In federal workers' comp, your doctor's report has more probative value. So when they do a second opinion, they say, now, Dr. Ellis, do you agree or disagree? Right.
I think this is a good opportunity while we're waiting for some more comments to talk about the complexities with respect to not only federal workers' comp, but VA and establishing the claims. I know that you were an editor of the AMA Guide for Permanent Disablement, the fourth edition. Fourth edition. Talk about the complexities and connecting them with various connecting factors, calculations, and how difficult that is.
Well, now scheduled awards is you use a book, and it's involved. It's a book, and you rate an arm and shoulder using the book. Okay, bunch of nerd stuff. Anyway, but now the complexity is getting a claim accepted because doctors, over 50% of litigation requires a white coat, a doctor's opinion. We have all our training is in malpractice prevention. We have no training in federal workers' comp, VA disability, car wrecks, Social Security. And so, in fact, I got into this 100 years ago, in the early 70s, and delivered a attorney's baby. Doc, will you see a state workers' comp claim and rate them for the percentage of loss of the ability to do ordinary manual labor? That's how law talks to white coats, because you got to have a white coat to make that dependent, and our white coats don't have any training.
So the difficulty, especially whenever it comes to the actual process, the bureaucratic process, these claims examiners,
administrative law,
there's a bias that they have automatically without even seeing this person,
without even knowing they have it. I'll prove that everybody here in this room has it. Okay. Allstate ran an ad, very good ad. You know, that really good actor in Allstate. You're in good hands with Allstate. Great ad. I mean, just a believable. But anyway, they ran it prime time for an extra long time. We fight fake car wreck claims to keep your car insurance premiums down. Buy our car insurance. I about fell out of my recliner. I laughed so loud because the ad says, if you file against us, we're going to fight you. We're bragging about it that we're going to fight you, but it keeps your premiums down, so buy it. Okay. By the way, that pissed me off so much that I took the master's course. This is double-sided in accident reconstruction. I went to court one time, and that was it. They don't mess with me anymore about low speed not causing injuries. In fact, a 10-mile-an-hour car wreck is like falling on this desk. A 15-mile-an-hour car wreck is falling off a 7.5-foot ladder. A 20-mile-an-hour car wreck that everybody calls low speed is off the roof of a one-story building, the top, where Santa Claus comes down the chimney. 25 is a 3-story building. 30 is a 2-story. 30 is a 3-story building. Low speed hurts, folks. Also, you've got all this mass of the vehicles. It's amazing how it works because part of it, the car crumples. You have seats that's got cushions, but low speed not causing injury is ridiculous. In fact, my low speed collision, my low speed analogies on the website gets a lot of hits. Look it up if you want to.
So you would say that the complexity of understanding the intricacies of getting your schedule award correctly established comes on the white coat portion. And I say this because Robert Carrera just commented again on YouTube saying, I applied for SSDI and I was told if I get a schedule award, I have to give it back to Social Security. But when I looked at the actual information up, and this is the hilarity of it, is they say there's different calculations that
different calculations.
But contact us, the bureaucrats, to tell you what that means.
Do not trust anybody, including John Ellis.
Is it? But it goes to say, when it comes to schedule award, the white coat is the boss.
Right, and the white coat makes the schedule award. Now, who does what with that money? That's their laws.
So we have another here from 76. Can my federal agency force me into retirement if I went out on OWCP 75% temp disability?
They try that all the time. Don't let them do that. They want you gone. They want you off the rolls. They want you on FERS, 40% taxable, and it doesn't go in their workers, it doesn't show up at the end of the year in their workers' comp. That's fraud, and they'll intimidate you and do all kinds of crap. Now, I did have a person go ahead and take FERS and get off 75% of temporary total disability just because he's tired of seeing the Department of Labor on an envelope. I said, you're losing a lot of money, but you're going to add 10 years to your life. So if you don't want to play the game, you can take FERS, but don't let them force you. You've been putting up with a lot of shit. In other words, if you have a federal job with all its benefits, you put up with supervisors that you wouldn't put up with in the private sector. You're going a long time ago. And so don't give that up. Now, give me a call. I'll show you how not to worry.
Yeah. I think that's a perfect segue into the harassment that we see in federal agencies, especially towards, the employees.
Oh, it's called Racketeering RICO Act. If anybody else did it, the Employee Compensation Appeal Board, which is your Supreme Court in federal workers' comp. By the way, it's not political. All these judges are just as honest they can be. They understand the law is pro-injured person, injured employee. When every time I've done an oral hearing, I'm talking to a human being that understands the law, and we just talk facts. Okay, it's not political. It's just this is the law. We're going to apply it. In fact, the head judge of that ECAB and I have discussed some issues of the AMA guides that probably ought to be fixed. But this judge says, yeah, I agree that it should, but until it is, I must follow this book completely. That's all we ask for. Okay. And in a way, it's helped. In the past, you might write 20% for shoulder, somebody gets 5%, and it says they pulled it out of their ass. But now, in fact, I had a case. It's an 18% shoulder, and I incorrectly multiplied by a factor of 10%. So 18 plus 1.8 is 20. The district medical advisor correctly multiplied by 5%, so it went from 20 to 19, but it didn't go to 20 to 5. So this 6th edition of the AMA guides, and they're working on the 6.1 edition. I met the new editor. And this is good too, because now we have some people that are paid. All the guides in the past are all volunteers, and the amount of hours they gave to that, just thank you very much. But it's just like in the 6th edition AMA guides, the upper extremities, lower extremities are totally different because they're two different group of people. But there's a lot of little nuances you have to read, and you don't ever want me to do schedule work. You want my Nicole to do it, because now you take the AMA guides and the FECA bulletins, Federal Employment Compensation Act, that's Federal Workers' Comp bulletins. For instance, when the book says the AMA guides, this book, so you got a shoulder and you look at it and you say, which is higher, range of motion method or diagnosis? If range of motion is method, you're through. That's it. It's a standalone. That's it. If it's diagnosis, you can add nerves and all that other stuff to it. The FECA bulletin, by the way, it's 17.6, says if range of motion is higher, you can add the nerves and all that stuff to it. That's where it's coming from New Jersey, folks. Not see me, see Nicole or my, horse. Because we just call it like it is. That's all we want. Since I've been doing legal medicine since the early 70s, if you're asking somebody else for money, I think that the doctor-patient privacy is over. Let's videotape this, and so everybody can see what was done. Because now the trouble is the good doctors wouldn't do it to scare them, but the bad doctors that put them out of jail. Well, he never touched my shoulder. In fact, I had one the other day from down on the border. Mangled leg, loose cane, blah blah. Lower extremities, he's on a cane, hospital bed, a walker at times. Anyway, he's getting out of bed and he does that maneuver and has a sudden pain. Next day it's terrible. 17 days later has surgery. Is that coincidental? Of course not. So the second opinion doctor said no. And I'm saying that was not a medical rationale report. You've got to say it based on the FECA Act, not on your medical school training. So one of my responses, he needs to go. Now, he said no. Then I saw him later, and the claims examiner went back in time and used that report. No, you've got to send him for another exam. Okay, you're already made a mistake, claims examiner. But I said, so I would recommend you take my report, and on page 8 and 9, it has a summary of the law. The law says if a work factor or contributed the slightest amount, it's 100% covered. If it's pre-existing, because he was 44 when his shoulder went out. He doesn't have a 20-year-old shoulder, and he had, and he's had the injuries before. If it aggravates the slightest amount, it's covered, and the shoulder's covered as it. So it's obviously there's nothing. So, doctor, you have to say it's my medical opinion that the shoulder was not contributed the slightest amount due to his accepted claims. You got to use those words, and then it's the medical rationale. Because everybody says you need a medical rationale for it. It needs a medical rationale on the prevailing law. So if it's Oklahoma State Workers' Comp or Ohio State Workers' Comp or Social Security, FERS, they all have different criteria. Doctor, you better know that law. Now, let me tell you something. Every time I've gone to federal criminal court, these fools don't even know the law. I had one case I go that she's got carpal tunnel, and my restriction was no more an hour a day on a keyboard because that gave it to her, but she dictated all day long. So they said, no work, no work. I said, she can work. She just can't use the keyboard. Okay. And so I said, come work for me. And then the Department of Justice guy gets bent out of shape that he's somehow breaking law. He's not read. And we go to court, and I've got a 146-page transcript that he's talking about temporary total disability. And did you invite her? Yeah, I got right. I recruited her. As if something was wrong. I said, cite me evidence that when the VA says that they have no work for us, you can't work at 7-Eleven or at Ellis Clinic. Now, I have an ethical issue. If I'm the treating doctor, I determine if she can work and where she can work. Now, if I keep her off work so she can work at Ellis Clinic, it's unethical. But I told the guy, I said, but it ain't illegal. And so I own him. The fool had not read, he'd never read my transcripts. You don't let Johnny Cochran in there. So is this the end of it? Hey, folks, let me tell you why no one does federal workers' comp. Months later, 2 guys come up from Dallas, Office Inspector General, with their little card, special agents. They want to see this doctor in my office in the United States of America without a goddamn piece of paper. This is not Russia. And I bring her in. I said, doctor, these guys are from Nigeria. These are fake badges. You don't talk to them unless you're in your attorney's office with your husband there. Give me permission, I'll talk to him. And I read the Riot Act to him. Those guys had not even read the fucking law. I perused it. You peruse the law, you're here to discuss if she's broken. I'm surprised I don't have a bullet in the back of my head. But I will not tolerate this. And by golly, if you don't like cussing, stop doing this stuff. You arrogant people with badges. You're the lowest on the totem pole. Let me tell you something. In 1971, the United States Supreme Court, I don't think the Department of Justice knows who that is. 5 officers denied the constitutional rights of a federal employee. He sued them. They paid their own attorney fees and court costs. You do not mess with federal employees. Now, you can mess with me. I don't have any protection. But these guys walk around with their badges and flash their badges in people's faces, enable everybody's anal sphincter tightens up, mine opens up, because I don't tolerate it. Because I know the law, and this is America. This is the truth, justice, the American way, Superman comic book, and you will obey the law. That's all I want you to do. Yeah.
All right. We have here a question from Ray, which I think we know the answer to, is can you file a schedule award on lower back?
Yep. Okay. If there's pain down the leg.
Okay.
You can file a schedule award to be 0. Now, the way you would rate a back in the guide, you'd rate for the body part was injured, surgeries, range of motion, you put all that together, and then you'd add the nerve. And schedule award, you only get the nerve, which most people have.
We have one from Marcus on Facebook. If OWCP fails to find a referee doctor within 30 days and you have to call and remind them, is there a violation?
Probably. You're not going to be able to do anything about it. They don't follow the rules. And also, a lot of the second opinion doctors and referee doctors are public health officials federal government, paid by the federal government. I wonder about the ethics of that.
It's an interesting question when
Yeah,
it
it's an
comes to
interesting
ethics
question.
and law
How
enforcement.
unbiased are you?
So here are 76 again. Have you ever heard of federal employees going on OWCP temp disability from complications of long COVID-19 fatigue?
Oh yeah, that's a given. That's that's almost presumptive. Yeah.
Right. We have
And now, now you have COVID, the coronavirus. When you have kids going to school and they have runny noses during the year, that's a coronavirus. It morphs all the time. So, okay, so now this coronavirus would kill some people, and so if you lose the sense of smell, the sense of taste, that's cranial nerve 1 and 2. That's the nerve directly to the brain. This is the nerve peripheral. If my neck goes down, but this finger, that's a C6. This is a brain damage. It's not long COVID, stupid. It's encephalopathy. You've got brain damage from that virus. Just as if you had meningitis. You had a meningeal viral infection in your brain. That's why that happened. Don't call it long COVID. Call it what it is. Did not anybody take neuroanatomy in medical school?
So he asks additionally, and I think it'd be valuable for you to re-answer this because I think it's important. I missed the answer to my question concerning forcing me into retirement.
No, absolutely not. They're going to harass you into retirement. They can't make you retire. They can tell you to do it, but that's fraud.
Right.
But can you take the flack?
And I think that also goes to the importance of having, someone like you.
Oh yeah, and then you could go in. You go to ellisclinic.com, look up FERS, the Federal Employment Retirement System. Look up harassment. Look up video surveillance.
You want to expand on that?
Oh yeah, they video. Yeah, they're not paranoid. They are out to get you. Look at the map, and all those pins have horror stories. I mean, come on, they are. You're not paranoid. They are out to get you. They will. The post office really, and they're told not to video.
Well, we have another here from Roberto. Do I have limited time to add carpal tunnel to my DOL case? I am medically retired.
No, if you're now, if it's been 3 years since your last employee, no problem. If it's over 3 years, we got to show that your pre-existing stuff contributed to it. So let's say you had a sprain. Well, then you're going to get carpal tunnel from that sprain. No, but if you ever see with people with carpal tunnel, you don't see them ass there. It takes very little pressure. It is your nerve. In other words, you're 16, you hit the door jamb, and you don't hit your funny bone, but that same touch, if you hit that little nerve, you'll have some tingling. So it doesn't take very much pressure because there's no room here. So that's why carpal tunnel is so common.
We have Susie on Facebook. I've heard the 5th and 6th edition will be referenced for schedule awards, and the most favorable will be awarded. Have you heard of this new change?
No, that's interesting. I've not heard of that.
Something to definitely look into. Well, anyone here watching, please ask your questions as we're in the last 10 minutes here. But Doc, you, the comment was made earlier, the tiredness of seeing the Department of Labor on, letterhead that your patient had, which made him quit. And talk about the importance of continuing on the fight and if you feel you're being wronged.
Okay. Now, first of all, justice occurs after you're dead and you're in heaven. Solomon said there's something wrong under the sun. In other words, God screwed up. The righteous are afflicted, the evil prosper and become congressmen. Okay. In the New Testament, he blesses the evil into repentance. Now, Jesus never did a sermon. He did a warning on the mountain. This is what's going to happen when you're saved. You're going to be poor in spirit. I know you're going to, whoops, your Lord, I quit. And blessed are those that are persecuted for righteousness' sake. So you're out there working. You're working for the government. You're not, and then the government jumps on your head. That's persecution for righteousness' sake. Now, if you get thrown to the lions, theologically, that's easier. Now, it hurts to eat my lions. But I'm suffering from Jesus. I'm going to get you some crown in a minute. But this looks like God's mad at me. And I understand the terror people have. I got a letter once that said Internal Revenue Service. And I went, ooh, a war. And my face dropped. It was a refund check. I'm just different. That's all. I love war because I know the law and I expect truth. And I do live in a country of laws. I'm going to tear up here in a minute. We can make people follow their laws. We can't do this in Russia, China, and Venezuela. Well, we can do this. Okay. And let's get these, but you're dealing with a bias. Get over it. And if you've ever said, I can't believe someone did something, my God, get over being 4 years old. I'm speaking as the number one asshole. Now, I know I'm an asshole because this wonderful woman who put up with me over 6 years said, you're getting paid to be an asshole. I said, I'm getting paid to teach it. And I'm the number one asshole. And I know when Jesus said, the heart is deceitfully wicked above all things, he was talking about me. Okay? Because my flesh doesn't like doing God stuff. Sometimes I listen to my spirit, and it's different. It took Jesus 3 times to pray that prayer in the garden. Not my flesh will, which doesn't want to do this, but thine be done. And he feels good. And he gets out of Sunday school class, and everybody's asleep, and the flesh takes over. You know, I leave Sunday school class, and I'm in good all week. I don't even make it to the car. Okay. And instead of I'm a bad Christian, he goes, just a second. He prayed that same prayer 3 times. Now, John was asleep. No one had witnessed this, so John either thought that up or God revealed it to him, and that's up to you to figure out. Anyway, he nailed it on the 3rd time. And then he had what's called peace that passes understanding. Pilate says, hey, pay attention. Now, he's been up all night, been beat up by the Sanhedrin guard, so he's physically a mess. And yet Pilate's picking something up. He's used to people cussing and begging, but never at peace. My peace I give unto you. Call me, I'll show you how to do that. Okay? But he's at peace. Now, I let Jesus in my heart 50, at age 31, I'm 82. And I've let the Holy Spirit lead me 7 times for 1 minute. We all do that. We all try to take over. We all try to be God. And when you're 2, up until about 2, then you have to be toilet trained, and then you live your poop and you're cute, and then you have to learn the rules. And from that moment on, you're a victim. You're pouting that you're not getting your way, and then you watch, things like the good guys always win and all that silly stuff. And then you're pouting until you realize you aren't God. Then you get into getting the program. And what do you want to do today, Lord? This is a war, folks. Now, weapons are weird. We tell the truth. And even to our own hurt. Okay.
Right. We got a couple more before the end of the hour here. Marcus on Facebook. Dr. Ellis, my claim isn't approved yet, but I have a CA7 I need to submit. If my claim is approved, would those dates renew once the claim is accepted?
I'm not sure what he means. The CA7 means I'm asking for a scheduled award. I'm asking for time off work. I'm asking for leave without pay buyback and stuff like that. So I assume it may be it's a scheduled award. You filed your CA7 and attached the scheduled award report, and then you just have to wait.
Right. Marcus, feel free to contact the office directly.
Yeah, give us a call. General questions, just call us. Now, specific questions about specific claims require a picnic table. We are not going to answer a question off the cuff without everything spread out on the table, every report, every claim in perfect order, everything the way it has to be so that we don't make a mistake. This is legal stuff, law stuff, okay? And then we address what's the duck? What's the issue? I want them to apologize. I'm not going to go there. That's not going to happen until you go to heaven. Do you want your claim accepted or not? That's the duck.
Marcus says time off work.
Okay, yeah, no. Yeah, now you're going to have documentation. You're going to have your doctor have given you CA-17s or reports or something about time off work, and then if you don't get it, then you can request the senior claims examiner look at it, or you can request an appointment with our legal medicine department. Doesn't cost you anything, and we will look at it and tell you what we recommend you to do. We're not your representative. We're not your lawyer, but we know we can tell you what to do.
Well, we have, I think, a question here from Mr. B on YouTube. have the VA contacted you about your reports?
No, no. I'm just no VA. I just do a report. That's it. I mean, we don't do any. That's you go from there. You go to a veteran service officer or lawyer to take it to the next level.
Right. We have a comment here from Troy that I thought you'd enjoy. I appreciate your honesty and balls. Keep up the drive.
Can you imagine my wife living with this guy? Oh my God, she's going to have so many jewels in her crown.
Well, all right. Well, I think that about concludes our hour for today. Is there anything that you want to share before we leave? You got a minute or two?
Don't give up. The law's on your side.
All right. And how can people get in touch with you and get in touch with the clinic?
Yeah, just go to ellisclinic.com, give us a call. Send your records in, ask a question, we'll look at it. We can help you. We will. If not, we'll tell you.
All right. Well, with that, thank you for watching. We'll be back here the first Friday of next month, as we are every month. And we have another thank you from Marcus. You guys have a good weekend.
Okay. God bless everybody.
Thanks so much.